What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Hero Zero here on the Heroes for Hire podcast. My name is Shaun, and joining me, as always, is my partner in crime, Mr. Conor Lawler.
I'm ready to learn.
Oh, you best be ready,
yes,
boy.
My body is ready.
Now, Conor, there were some announcements in the comic book movie world recently.
Yes.
There was a whole panel about them.
Mm-hmm.
One of the panels includes a certain Oscar winner.
I just realised we're getting straight into it. No talking.
No banter at all.
I'm not about banter anymore. I didn't realise you were just going straight in.
Oh no, sorry about that. Do you want some banter?
No, it's fine.
Well, this is the banter now.
The banter has now become us talking about the banter. Oh, we're not doing this again.
I hate when this happens.
You're thinking of some sort of Ali situation?
Yeah, Mahershala
Ali.
Yes.
He's won 2 Oscars.
2 Oscars.
Yes,
and now...
He was announced for a certain role.
He's playing Wesley Snipes
Wesley
in the Wesley Snipes biopic.
He hates tags.
No, what we're actually talking about is Blade.
Now,
do you know anything?
Trinity.
Blade Trinity, the best Blade.
Yes.
Do you know anything about Blade?
I have seen all of the Blade movies. Mm-hmm. I really like 2 and 1.
I've only seen 1.
You've only seen 1. 2 is really good. And Blade Trinity is obviously trash.
Of course.
But... that's the extent I know about Blade, is that in the movies it's implied that his mother was pregnant with him.
Yeah.
And she got bitten by a vampire, and then he is half vampire, half human, and he has all other strengths and other weaknesses.
Well, you couldn't be more wrong.
Oh wow, Jesus Christ.
It's exactly that.
Yay! I just followed the plot.
So Blade was born in a whorehouse in the Soho neighbourhood of London.
Positive. London?
He's
English?
He's English.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's like English vampire hunter kind of thing.
Right.
So his mother, Tara Brooks, was a prostitute at a brothel, and she experienced labour complications. So they called a doctor, but the doctor was, in actuality, Deacon Frost.
What? Who's Deacon Frost, Shaun? Just randomly, I'm just asking you.
He was a vampire who feasted on her during Eric's birth.
He seems like a poor choice for a doctor. Where did he get his medical degree?
Well, it was a disguise kind of thing.
Right.
So he was just a vampire who dressed up like a doctor.
Up to fucking devilment, if you ask me.
A bit of... Well, look, he's a vampire.
Yeah, I suppose,
what else
actually.
is he meant to get up to?
Exactly.
While he feasted on his mother, this passed along certain enzymes into Eric Brooks, Blade.
Eric Brooks.
Eric Brooks.
Eric Brooks. To go from Eric Brooks to Blade?
Yeah.
That's a major upgrade.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to be Eric Brooks.
No offence to any Eric Brooks, but if you could be called Blade...
would you not take that?
Anybody's taking that.
It's the most badass thing you could get.
Exactly.
So Eric has what's called quasi-vampiric abilities.
Of course he does.
He has a greatly prolonged lifespan and the ability to sense supernatural creatures, and an immunity to complete vampirism.
Right.
The other prostitutes in the brothel, they drove off Deacon Frost before he could kill the infant Blade.
Right, but Deacon Frost killed his mother.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he hates Deacon Frost.
He does?
So
is Deacon Frost the villain in the first Blade?
He is indeed.
Okay.
He's the pale-looking man.
Yes.
Yeah.
The vampire.
With the hair.
With the hair and the ears.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. Now I remember.
So he grew up living in the brothel, and at age 9... while returning home from school, he saw an old man being attacked by 3 vampires.
He was living in the brothel?
He grew up in a brothel.
That's... How do you grow up... It wouldn't be a great place to hang out, like.
I can't imagine so, but I think he was kind of looked after by
everybody else.
Yeah.
I suppose. All right.
So Eric helped the old man, and the old man was using a silver cane to kill vampires. Which is not important.
So he randomly ran into this old man
who was being set upon by some vampires.
Okay.
And
it looked like the old man was being attacked, but in reality he was probably attacking the vampire.
He was fighting with vampires.
Okay.
And Blade just jumped in to help. The man's name was Jamal Afari. He was a jazz trumpeter and a vampire hunter.
It's all about the vampires you don't stab.
Very good.
Thank you.
So he moved into the brothel, and he trained Eric in both music and combat.
Why music? He's just obsessed with jazz.
Because it's about the vampires, you don't.
He's like, look at me, right? If you can't scat, you can't stab.
A scoop of the bappet.
Scat for me, Blade, scat.
It's just him furiously trying to scat. Blade was soon able to defeat many of the weak, younger vampires that were around London.
So you're just picking on kids.
Vampire kids.
I suppose.
So they're probably 120 years
Yeah,
old.
yeah, fair enough.
He became an Olympic-level athlete and a formidable hand-to-hand combatant with an expertise in edged weapons like knives and daggers.
And the saxophone.
The saxophone, the
Yeah.
sharpest instrument of them all.
Exactly.
A scuba-da-baba-da-boo.
Don't scuba the bap at me.
His skill with knives and daggers was so noticeable that it earned him the nickname Blade among fellow vampire hunters and the vampires they opposed.
Vampire hunters is a big thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of vampire hunters.
And this is Marvel Comics.
It is Marvel Comics.
Right.
What was it? I think the license expired on... The Comics Code Authority allowed people to write about vampires. So
This is when they got really dark.
Yeah.
Right.
Blade is a very gritty comic.
Very, very gritty. Even the movies are very fucking gritty.
Yeah. So the vampires began to fear the young hunter. Like, he's only getting started, but he's still unreal.
Yeah, so he's like the prodigy.
Yeah, he's the best.
Because, if we remember correctly, he has all their strengths. So
Yeah.
he can walk in the sun.
This comes later. He's a daywalker.
Yeah, see, his idea is that, like, he has vampire level strength, does he?
Yeah.
And so, but not only that, he's also trained to the nth degree.
Yeah.
And he has none of their weaknesses in that, like, they can be hurt by sunlight and all that stuff. They can only go out dark.
Yeah.
But he can do all that stuff.
He can do whatever.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right.
So his victories made him cocky.
Oh no!
I know. He got too big for
He
his
stopped
boots.
paying tax.
He had a very good accountant. No one should have known.
He's going to jail.
He joined a street gang named the Blood Shadows.
That's a Blade in the Blood Shadows is a fucking great name.
For a jazz band.
Actually, Blade in the Blood Shadows. It's
unreal.
a really dark scat band. Scabada. Oh, scab.
Moody scatting.
Scabada-dabba.
Stabadaba.
Stabada-babba.
We've got it now.
Well done.
The gang was headed by a man called Cyrus Cutler. Cyrus Cutter.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course.
So
Blade, is it a gang that's led by Cyrus Cutter?
Yes, but he's later killed in a knife fight.
Of course he is.
With Blade.
Of course. Sure, where else was he going to die?
Blade disapproved of Cutter's actions as leader, and Glory Anna, who was Cutter's girlfriend, became Blade's girlfriend.
Right, because she doesn't have a brain for herself, that she has to become his girlfriend because he killed her boyfriend.
Yeah, I think it's a power thing.
Look what you do.
It's comics.
I'm sure it's a very loving relationship built on nothing but trust.
So this all happened in the States, but he came back to London, where for months him and Glory hunted vampires, demons, and warlocks. And there they encountered an older and more powerful vampire than Blade had ever met before, who was named Lamia.
Lamia.
Lamia. Lamia.
Okay.
Lamia.
Okay, yeah. Lamia kind of sounds...
Lame.
Yeah. It's Glory. Glory's not a vampire.
No, Glory is a vampire hunter.
So she's just strictly human.
Human. And Blade, for all intents and purposes, is human at this point.
Yeah.
He doesn't have full vampire strength.
Okay.
Blade barely defeated Lamia, with the other members of his group being killed, except for Glory, who was turned into a vampire whilst Blade was down.
Oh, Jesus.
Now, she refused
Nobody could see this coming.
No, a love interest in a vampire story?
Nobody could ever see this coming.
So Glory refused to kill Blade in recognition of their relationship, but she warned him never to look for her or she would kill him.
What biting comments.
Oh, that was all right. The tragedy of the experience left Blade more determined than ever to dedicate his life to the complete exterminations of vampires.
Makes sense.
A firm goal.
So everyone he's ever known has been killed by vampires.
Pretty much, except for his master.
Right.
So, his
But
master...
he's definitely going to die in the next sentence.
His master later fell prey to Dracula.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense.
This is the first time Blade had met Dracula.
Yeah.
And it started an ongoing battle between the two.
It would be a bad introduction. You
So-
know how you make a bad introduction sometimes with people? You
Yeah.
kill their master of the scat saxophone.
Yeah.
That's going to piss somebody off.
Now, he didn't kill him, he turned him into a vampire.
Oh, for fuck's
But
sake.
Blade Mercy killed him.
Of course he did.
And he tracked Dracula back to Europe, Asia Minor, and Asia.
Asia Minor?
Yeah.
Is that
I
not
don't-
just Asia?
I don't know geography well enough to clear that up.
Fair enough.
He staked Dracula many times, but never completely destroyed him.
Why?
So, he'd clip him.
Clip them. The old clip stick.
Yeah, Blade uses. Actually, I'm going to get to that. In China, Blade joined Ogun Strong's vampire hunters.
These are some great names.
And they staked Dracula again between all of them. Dracula survived and killed all the hunters.
For fuck's sake.
Except Blade and a guy called Musenda, who retired from vampire hunting.
He didn't die.
Didn't die.
He's not a vampire.
Just goes off.
Are you promising me now that this man doesn't get turned into a vampire?
At the end of this comic, goes off into the sunset.
Oh, I feel happy, but
For
also,
Musenda,
but also I don't trust you that this will not end badly.
No, another member of the group, Orgy.
For God's sake.
ORJI, how am I meant to say?
ORJI, yeah, okay.
Had created a lasting impression on Blade because he used wooden daggers to combat vampires, leading to Blade adopting that as his preferred weapon of choice.
I thought he had a sword.
Yeah, but he also has wooden daggers in the comics.
Wooden daggers?
Because they're like stakes.
Okay, that's fair enough, yeah.
Yeah, because he's real good with knives, so why wouldn't he just use the knife that instantly kills a vampire?
Makes sense.
Unless it's Dracula for some reason.
Yeah.
So he was consumed by grief for his fallen comrades, and so resumed his quest alone as a solo vampire hunter once again.
Every time he joins a group, they all die. Except for that one guy who got to ride away into the sunset.
Yeah, which we'll hear about him.
Oh,
or
no.
will we?
Oh, don't say that. You played with my heart too many times.
Blade encountered a guy called John Carrick, and they found a vampire impersonating Deacon Frost, and Dracula was also there, so they were fighting him. Later he went to New Orleans, and Frost was there. Deacon Frost was there again, resurrected. So he joined forces with another dude to kill him. It's a lot of just his old enemies popping back up.
I think they probably came up with like 5 enemies.
Yeah.
And they just were like, right, we finished that comic run.
Because they're
is Deacon around?
We can make Deacon
How
around.
long has it been since we did Deacon? 6 months? Let's bring Deacon back.
Bring him in. Because I guess you can't have vampires just everywhere. You
No.
can't have dozens and dozens of them.
Because then the question, if Blade is in Marvel,
Yeah.
then why doesn't everywhere just get infested with vampires?
Yeah, exactly. Blade remained active in New Orleans, defeating the vampire Ulysses Sojourner and his former ally, Morbius the Living Vampire.
Jared Leto news?
It is indeed Jared
Are you saying
Leto.
Jared Leto is in this?
He could be. He could be in the new Blade.
Oh, shit.
But he was under the mental... What's it called? Sojourner was controlling him mentally. I don't know.
Mind control.
Mind control. Mm-hmm. So Blade followed Morbius to New York, where he teamed up with Spider-Man.
I know that guy.
And Blade was bitten by Morbius.
Right. Okay.
So Blade's blood enzymes, you remember the enzymes?
I remember the enzymes.
They reacted unexpectedly with Morbius's unique form of vampirism.
And he turned to Ska.
lots of check.
He decided saxophone wasn't for him. Ska was the new thing in
Ska's where
town.
it's at. So remember, Morbius he's a science vampire. So he came back because of experiment. So because of his unique form of vampirism, Blade got many strengths while eliminating the weakness inherent to a vampire. Most notably the weakness to sunlight, and it was at this time that Blade assumed the unofficial title of Daywalker among his prey.
Okay.
And that's kind of how he became Blade.
Right.
So his powers and abilities, he's an expert fighter, expert hand-to-hand combatant, Olympic-level athlete, he's vampire strength, and he's a daywalker, so he can function during the day.
All their strengths, none of their weaknesses.
Yeah, and he can sense supernatural entities.
Okay.
But also, his weakness is that he has a bloodlust for hunting vampires.
Really?
Whereas vampires have a bloodlust for humans.
So he has a bloodlust for hunting them.
Yeah, now it's not to the same extent of a vampire, but he just...
Does he have any bloodlust at all for humans?
Blade? No.
Yeah. No, he's not at all interested in that.
No, he just... Like, his life's goal is to kill
Because I think
vampires.
in the movies, if I remember correctly, he has to keep injecting himself with human blood.
To keep it all at bay.
To keep it at bay, so that like he's still like, oh god, I'd love to buy a human, but... He can't do it, so he like buys pig's blood or something and he like injects that into him.
Yeah, and he won't do it. Like he will refuse. He's a cool character, because he is essentially human up until he gets bitten by Morbius.
Right.
Like, everything you heard there, he was.
So he was a human through all that?
Yeah, no, he had the ability to sense supernatural creatures, but that was pretty much it. And he was immune to vampirism.
I think that's fairly useless, though.
If you're a vampire hunter, it's pretty key, I would say. Just putting that.
No, but I'd say it's. Sorry, I don't mean that. I mean, like, I feel like that doesn't really affect him. Like, if he's a human still in that situation, I mean, it's still pretty impressive that he survived all of those situations because everybody else died.
Yeah.
So, like, I think he's a really cool character that is almost overpowered. Because if you bring him in, you have to bring in shit tons of vampires to fight him.
That's the thing, because he can take on pretty much anyone.
Yeah.
And he's the best. In his world, he's the best at what he does.
And once you introduce vampires, then you have to introduce hundreds of them.
Yeah.
And you have to infest everything with them. Like, as a sort of Hydra situation, that half the people we've been watching are vampires.
Yeah, or that they just come about all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't be as good. On the Marvel 1 to 7 rating system, his durability is 4, energy is 1, fighting skills are 5, intelligence is 2, speed is 2, and strength is 4.
Right.
So it's just kind of, he'll keep going. Like, he's just hard to put down.
Yeah, he's not weak in anything.
No.
He's just naturally good at everything.
Yeah.
Which is more difficult. Because even if he has like one major strength, you'll be like, well, what's his weakness?
Yeah, exactly.
But he has no weaknesses.
He's a very good all-rounder.
Yeah.
He's very cool. I'm looking forward to seeing the new film.
And you know, if Jared Leto is in that movie, then there's 4 Oscars between the two of them.
God damn it. It's hard to argue with those numbers.
There's 4 Oscars in the movie. And yet we'll still be like, Jared.
If we get Oscar Isaacs in. 5 Oscars.
I don't know if he counts.
We'll paint him gold.
Unless he wins an Oscar for his portrayal of Poe Dameron.
Yes.
Poe Dameron in the Star Wars 9.
Could do.
Maybe.
Probably not.
No, absolutely not. Right, so that is the end of Heroes Here. That's a good run through of Blade.
It's a nice little starter.
Yeah.
If you're getting ready for the film.
And I'd recommend the first 2 films.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
They're not they're not horror. It's just they're more action.
Action horror.
And they're like the very first Marvel movies ever made. So
yeah.
If you want to see where the MCU fucking started,
go for
it's in those 2 movies. That's definitely the start. I prefer the second one, weirdly.
I haven't seen the second one.
But the first one has a really good opening scene where the guy gets dragged into like a vampire bar or a nightclub, and then blood starts streaming down from all the streamers, and then Blade just turns up and there's like 100 vampires, and he just sticks out his sword, and they're all like, oh, we're all about to get fucked.
This is going to be a bad day.
Because the Daywalker's here and he's the fucking best.
Yeah.
So you can support the show if you want on Patreon. It's in the description. Feel no need to do that. You still get all 3 episodes even if you don't donate anything. And you can follow us on Twitter at Here's Fire Pod, _4, Facebook Here's Fire Podcast, Instagram Here's Fire Podcast. If you want to email us, it's here'sfire_outlook.com. And that's everything will be in the description. So if you missed any of that, or I was talking way too fast in my Irish accent, that is all down there if you want to go down and check it out. We are on Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, all the stuff. Give us a follow, a like, a review on any of them stuff. That'd be really great. Helps with the algorithm. And most importantly, tell one human being we exist, because it really helps us out. And it's really cool when I'm like, when I see a message there last week and someone was like, I told my friend about you guys, and they like the show, and I was like, your friend also has bad taste.
And we are sorry to both of you.
We're sorry that we have affected you like this. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, tell one human being we exist, which is always great. I've been Conor.
I've been Shaun.
I'll see you next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.